August 2014. The Ebola Hemorrhagic Fever outbreak in West Africa explodes to cause the United Nations to issue an international threat. Hundreds of millions of funding dollars are pledged to support the nations suffering from this terrible and deadly outbreak. Tens of thousands are affected, and the numbers are rising every day. Those included are involved in travel, government, public health, and our hearts especially goes out to those grieving the deaths of their loved ones. I'm Dr. Ahmses Maat, and the camera person is my wife, Ahmses Maat. We are presently presenting this video to offer an explanation about Ebola and possible solution to reduce the high mortality. According to the CDC, Ebola is a viral infection from bats. This infection has an exceptionally high mortality rate that kills primates and humans. The total body sepsis causes significant problems. In particular, it causes a fever that is debilitating to the blood clotting system. This bleeding problem is the major cause of death in its victims. The weeks of sepsis and heat together stimulates coagulation or clotting of the blood. The blood acts much like the heating of an egg, and it coagulates. Also, the body attempts to cleave the clots at the same time. This occurrence is described as DIC, disseminating intravascular coagulation. The high fever also causes leaky blood vessels, fluid shifts, acidosis, weakness, and a myriad of other problems, including death. There is no published cure for Ebola. Millions of dollars of funding are going to preventative supplies of personal protective equipment used to help stop the spread of Ebola and other methods of supportive medicine. If you are under the care of a doctor, please ask them about what I'm sharing today to see if it's right for you. We think that this natural, time-tested method can help save lives. We're offering this information freely because we believe it's the correct thing to do for humanity. I've made an analogy of a long-term fever damaging and coagulating the blood like the heat coagulating an egg. Another analogy is a car being overheated when the radiator malfunctions and the engine stops. Thus, it is all important to stop the fever. The sepsis from Ebola infection will still be there because there is no reported cures for it as of yet. However, we must stop the debilitating Ebola hemorrhagic fever. If we can prevent the high fever or keep your temperature normal, then this may prevent all the trouble that fever causes. Let's imagine filling up a bathtub and letting it sit for 4 hours at room temperature. If it is an average warm day, say 85 degrees Fahrenheit, the water will be that temperature as well. Since our body is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than the water, the room temperature water will feel cool to our touch. Indeed, if we recline in that cool bath water long enough, it will bring down a fever. This is an instinctive, natural process of what our great-grandmothers used, and somehow now we look for a pill or a vaccine to stop a fever. Let's imagine again that our ever-loving Mother Earth provides all that we need. In fact, this is where we get the concept from our ancestor, a physician Imhotep of 2800 BCE. He treated his patients by giving them an earth bath. He laid them under the earth. It caused thermal regulation of the patient. Imhotep used fever therapy as Ra, the sun, heated the earth. It heated the patient for hyperthermia. Imhotep used hypothermia, cooling therapy, for when he placed his patients in the shade and deeper in the earth's coolness, sometimes at a temperature of 78 degrees Fahrenheit during the day and 60 Fahrenheit at night. This is where we get current therapeutic natural mud baths that has its origin. This is what we propose. There is always earth available. It is free right underneath your feet. Find a shaded area and dig a hole that will fit you or the patient, usually about 3 feet deep, 4 feet wide, and 7 feet long. Layer a plastic bag along the bottom and fill it half with the soil and add water to it. Then lay in the mud bath until the fever subsides. Options: use the water and add a little bit of vinegar and rum, which can help disinfect the soil from any body fluids like sweat from the patient that may be infectious. Also, the vinegar, acetic acid, and rum, ethyl alcohol, may help reduce the fever and relax the patient as well. After the patient's fever is reduced, they can resume their activities of daily living while they are isolated. Usually the Ebola infection lasts about 2 to 4 weeks. It seems Ebola, like any other viral infection, has its life cycle duration, runs its course, and subsides. Therefore, the water and or mud bath must be repeated as needed to keep the fever down until the fever subsides. I emphasize, this is no cure for Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Yet, the cool water and mud baths may be a way to restore ancient methods used for thousands of years to reduce fever. It is free and available to use immediately. We have other ideas that may be helpful for the mobile and stationary medical centers on the ground and the Ebola hotspots and other wellness issues. If you want to contact me, my email is ahmses007@gmail.com. Yours in health, Dr. Ahmses Maat and Akua Maat. September 4th, 2014.